Welcome, everyone, to the Activate Miracles podcast, a place where we meet with guests and ask them questions about how they're activating miracles in their lives. And we have with us Angi Farren, a guest today, a dear friend of our Director of Operations at the Miracle Activation Center, Michael Crystal. Angi, welcome.
Thanks, Lorendi. I'm so happy to be here. I'm good friends with Michael, and we go way back. And so I've heard about you over the years, and I'm so happy to be here today to share some of my story and my journey with you and your guests and those listeners.
That's so great. So we're going to jump right into that journey. Before we do, Angi, I'm going to share with you from A Course in Miracles, principle number 6, and would just love for you to listen to that and then let me know any thoughts you have around that. Does it resonate with you? Does it not resonate? Whatever it is. So miracles are natural. When they do not occur, something has gone wrong. So when you hear that, what comes up for you?
It's a daily thing for me. So I can totally resonate with that. It is weird. The little signs and symbols that I receive that validate that there's something higher out there, a higher power, and that is where the miracles come from. So I feel like it would be very odd to not have that feeling.
That's great. So you said that you receive signs and symbols as one of the ways that you know that you're in miracle activation mode. Can you share with us maybe a couple of examples of those signs or those symbols?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It's kind of been annoying lately, honestly. And it is something where I verbalized it, and I think that has created more activity around seeing the numbers 444. And for me, that's always been, I think of angels around me. And that number for me, even in the past, I've noticed, but it's really been, and it'll be on the clock mostly. That's where it's annoying. It's twice a day where sometimes I don't know what it is. I just look and it's 444 on the clock, but it can come in other ways. And I had shared this with a coworker. That's where I verbalized it. And then she had sent an email and had saved a document that we had been working on. And the time that she saved it was 444. And so I screen captured that, sent it to her. And I said, see, this is what I'm talking about. But it's a validation for me that my angels are near, and I am very much connected to something, again, higher.
Amazing. There are angels all around us. We have no idea. You know, you and I both come from a Christian background, and in the scriptures, you know, in the Bible, it talks about that we are surrounded, because in the book of Hebrews, by a great cloud of many witnesses. And those angels, people who've transitioned before us, such great people of faith and courage who've also been through a lot. And I think that's part of your story too, right? You've been through, even though you come from a great foundation, life has handed you some opportunities for healing and growing. Any of those opportunities that you'd like to share with us for the growth, and then how miracles showed up for you to help with your healing and transformation?
Sure. For me, it all goes back to that faith-based, really my mom, what she instilled in me. And, going through a loss, because she has since passed, that and it with my faith-based journey, having seen things a little bit differently. So I think a lot of my journey was alongside my mother, and through some of her ailments over her lifetime taught me so many lessons. And she, because she was a Methodist minister, and I really didn't grow up as a young child, even though she was always involved in the ministry and lay speaking. It wasn't until I was in high school that she actually became a minister, to where I decided to move out on my own. And she always felt like she wanted me there forever, of course. And so she went off and, became a minister and really just had that calling. But it was never like, for me, it was, my religion is kindness. And so like have being involved in the church and seeing good and bad church people over the years. And again, maybe because I didn't grow up in it, I was more of a young adult when she had, really embraced her calling. A lot of life lessons through that she was just helping me see through the relationship with others. And so then for me, in my journey, that's where I don't even like the word religion. That's why I say it's kindness. I've got a real spiritual faith base and that's all been instilled in me as a result of her. And so then after the loss, it's like there's for me. And so then the miracles where that comes in is like, I see things more in the now. Like I can recognize the miracle in the moment versus reflecting back on it. So I think in my younger years, things were happening. God has laid out the path. I am just going along the journey and trying not to get ahead of myself and my ego because he's laid it all out. So I need to just figure out if I, give it up and embrace something bigger than myself, things just fall right in line. And so Lorendi, I have so many different stories of where that's occurred. And it's through people, relationships, and folks that have come into my life that I know it's for a reason. And then I try to embrace that, I guess, more in the moment. So, but that's been happening through my whole life. And I give my mom most of the credit of helping me see that or figure out how to embrace that.
Oh, Angie, I want to go back to where you said my religion is kindness. And I just get this sense from just spending a little time with you that the kindness that you are, it activates kindness within others, activates these miracle opportunities where in moment by moment by moment, you're able to see many 444 experiences showing up. And I love how you also talked about how those miracles show up for you in relationships. Can you tell me a little bit more about that? Do you have an example of how you really could in the moment connect with, I was supposed to be here with this person at this time for, such a time as this?
Oh, you bet. So I was thinking through like what best story could I share? Because there's so many. And I keep saying I should write them down, and I want to write a book. And again, once you kind of verbalize it, and I want to call it God moments, because that's what it is. These are God moments that are happening with me, and big and small. So one of the most exciting things, because it just kind of came back around here within the last few weeks. So it was maybe 7 years ago when we were at the airport flying to Chicago for my husband's mother's birthday party. So they were throwing a bash, 75, she was turning, and the plane was delayed. It was an evening flight, and we're sitting at the airport, and I've had a lot of airport stories. But lady, get on the plane, lady that was next to me, and she was definitely, you could tell, nervous. She was trying to had a connecting flight, but we were quite delayed, and she was trying to get home to her daughter who was going to have a baby, and she was there as the babysitter. So she was supposed to get to this place. And anyway, we just connected, and we were just chit-chatting it up. We ended up holding hands, praying on the plane. I'd never done that verbally and, with someone holding hands, a stranger, my husband was probably shaking his head, and so she ended up giving me this book. We had a connection because she lives in the part of the territory where my work takes me sometimes. So there might be an opportunity down the road for our paths to cross. Anyway, we ended up making it just in time. She got there to be able to babysit. Her daughter had a beautiful another baby girl, and it was just a few weeks ago. I was taking books off my bookshelf, kind of organizing my office, came across the book she gave me. So she was in my thoughts, and, I had her business card, and I was just reminiscing, and I thought, well, all right, I put there. Like the next day, I got an email from her, and it was thinking of you, blah, blah, blah. Next time you're in this neck of the woods, look me up. So to me, that was so many things, right? It was the awesome connection we had, the verbal prayer we had together on the plane, and then this connection that I was thinking about her and she picked up on it. Like, how do you explain that?
Right. Well, it's such a beautiful example of what we like to call divine appointments, that you had this divine appointment to meet her on the plane and connect and be there for her in a moment where she was feeling potentially some anxiousness. And what an incredible gift she gave you this book. And then we always say that only minds can truly join, that we really can only join eternally on the level of mind and connection and soul, however you want to talk about that. So I think that, your connection with her when you picked up the book, and all of a sudden it's like your soul picked up the telephone to her soul, and it was inevitable that there was going to be a connection made at that point. Such a beautiful example. And those are opportunities where we can express gratitude, that we know that we're in flow. Like we like to talk about, like we're in that flow energy state where that's, maybe God was just tapping you both on the shoulder, say, see, I'm still very aware of this divine appointment, of this beautiful friendship, this beautiful connection. Really incredible. Well, Angie, we invite people to come because we really do believe they have something powerful to share and a connection point. And that's certainly been my experience today with you. Anything else you'd like to share in closing with our audience that you feel would be really helpful and feel inspiring and good to you to remind yourself of today?
Oh, you bet. Yeah, I think just there's no such thing as a coincidence. I like to think of again, I call them God moments, maybe just a synchronicity. And like what you were saying, it's very much a reason for everything, and to not get ahead of yourself, and slow down, focus on your breath. There's so many things that you can do to center yourself and tap in to something that is pretty awesome. And to be able to do that and recognize, what's happening with some of those signs and symbols around, it is just an awesome, awesome feeling that we're not alone. And I've never felt alone. My heart has always been full. And just the love that I have to give and want to receive, it's a pretty awesome feeling. So I have just a lot of gratitude for my life and where I've come to be. And thank you so much for wanting to hear about some of my God moments. And I'll have to circle back when I write the book and make sure you get a copy.
Angie, thank you so much for being the light of the world and lighting up our day, my day today. If someone wanted to get in touch with you, what would be the easiest way for them to do that if they wanted to hear more about those God moments?
Yeah. Well, I mean, I could provide my email address.
Okay.
That'd probably be the best way. And it's my mom gave me a beautiful name, and it's Angeline. And so I chop it off. That's why there's no E, but it's ANGILENE at AIM.com. So that was one of the very first emails anyone was ever given back in the day. I still have the AIM. So I would welcome anyone who wants to reach out and connect with me. And thank you again for the time that I was able to share with you today.
Absolutely. Be blessed. Thank you, everyone, for attending our podcast this morning, Activate Miracles, where we really do believe that you are the miracle activator for your life and for anyone that God brings into your life for a divine appointment. We'll see you next time.